What's up? What's up? It's Billy Carson here, aka Forbidden Knowledge. Welcome to the Forbidden Knowledge podcast tonight. As I promised you weeks ago, I was going to read through the Epic of Gilgamesh, all of the tablets. So today we're going to be on tablet 5 and 6. We've done 1, 2, 3, and 4. Today is tablet 5 and 6. All right. It's going to be an amazing night. And while we get ready to do that, check out this Forbidden Knowledge TV information.
Forbidden Knowledge Television.
This is logged in on November 25th, 2023, Eastern Standard Time. Sensitive material has been breached and it is now in front of the public. This is very sensitive documentation and the world will be in total chaos if leaked, and it is now leaked. All of it. Not one document, all of it. Place of exploitation, Forbidden Knowledge Television. This must be stopped.
All right. Forbidden Knowledge TV. It is growing and climbing. A lot of new incredible shows coming out. A lot of incredible series already on the platform. We have now over 3,000 episodes of incredible content, which include TV shows, documentaries, movies, shorts, and everything else, podcasts. We even have Michael Beckwith's Sunday Agape service on the network as well. So you want to go ahead and get that Forbidden Knowledge TV app. It's on your iOS app store for Apple devices. Go on the Android device, which is the Google Play Store for Android devices. Samsung TVs, any Samsung TV, go to their app store. Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Make sure you get the free Forbidden Knowledge TV app. ASAP, install it, get the free trial, and start learning more today. All right. And yes, Roro, this is live. You are live. All right. So let's get this party started. Got a lot to talk about tonight. I went on earlier with Matthew LaCroix, an amazing author and researcher, a best-selling author of many books. We co-wrote the book, The Epic of Humanity, which is available right now as a bestseller on Amazon and doing very, very well. And look at the reviews, amazing reviews on The Epic of Humanity. The book is doing phenomenal. And we talked about Atlantis earlier today, about the Timaeus and the Critias. We also talked about the Younger Dryas period and everything else. We had a great discussion today around 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to go back later on or tomorrow and watch our conversation, you'll see a great conversation that I had on here where we actually read parts of the Timaeus and the Critias by Plato. And we talked about Atlantis, the ancient Atlantean civilization that existed on this planet. All right. So just go ahead and check it out. And I just dropped a link in the live chat. If you want to go ahead and bookmark that or whatever, go there and save it in your cart. That is The Epic of Humanity. All right. Book is doing phenomenal right now. So today we're going to do going back onto the Epic of Gilgamesh. All right. The Epic of Gilgamesh. Just an amazing epic. And it just gives us some insight into the ancient past. It gives us some insight into the mindset of the people of that era, what they saw, what they witnessed. It gives us an insight into their dialect, how they spoke, who they revered, how they revered their deities and others. And it's just a great epic. And like I said before in the previous episodes that I did talking about the Epic of Gilgamesh, you discover that the Epic of Gilgamesh is the long form version of the story about Noah in the Bible. Okay. So it's pretty interesting, very interesting that, you see the biblical text is taking short tidbits out of these ancient texts and tablets all the time so that it can culminate and create its canonized book. And in the Epic of Gilgamesh, you get the full story. All right, you get the full story. So pretty cool stuff. I'll be reading. So I'll be looking up because there's a big screen behind this camera. So I'll be looking up and I'll be reading directly from the tablets. And like I said before, one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because I mean, let's be real. A lot of people are not going to go read the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's just not going to do it. But they've heard about it. They've wanted to read it. They maybe touched on it here or there. Maybe they've seen some articles about it or blogs, or maybe even somebody touch on it on a TV show or a network show like Ancient Aliens or something, but never really have heard all the words. And keep in mind, there may be some areas where I have to stop and pause simply because some of the tablets are broken in certain areas. And so those areas, you don't have the words. Anyone, and I do mean anyone, can look up the Epic of Gilgamesh. You can buy the full translation from on Amazon and just read the whole Epic of Gilgamesh yourself. There's plenty of PDFs on universities online. The one I'm reading from is actually from a university. So the Epic of Gilgamesh is abundant. You can get it anywhere for free or buy it. What I like to do when I come across PDFs online, even if they're from universities, is I like to buy the actual book itself as well from a translation, so that I can see if there's any differences between the two. Sometimes there are slight differences in the translation, or depending on where it's at, or what version of the tablet there is, which we know there's a Akkadian and a Babylonian. So you can get a little bit more better perspective on what you're trying to digest and what you're trying to download and actually discern. And so that's why I don't just only go by a PDF. I go into multiple. Sometimes I'll get 4 or 5 books to find out the story on one thing. For example, I have 4 books of Enoch from 4 different sources. And I've gone through all of them. And why? It gives me a better perspective on the story. It allows me to come up with my own concept and my own ideas, and I can begin to put some pieces of the puzzle together in a way that maybe makes more sense to me. And so I recommend that for people looking, so how do you research? How do you look things up? I always look into multiple areas, multiple sources, multiple writings, blogs, authors, ideas, concepts, hypotheses. You just want to be able to evaluate as much as you possibly can. All right. So without further ado, let me get started. I will take a couple of breaks in between this reading to give you some more updated information as to what's going on with forbidden knowledge. And I want to make a very special announcement tonight. It's a press release that just went out about an amazing achievement by Forbidden Knowledge Incorporated, something that we're very, very proud of, and that we put out in a press release just recently to the world to let them know this is what we have going on and where we're going. So I'll stop and take a break about that shortly. But right now, we're going to get into tablet number 5, all right? Tablet number 5 of the Epic of Gilgamesh. Again, if you haven't heard tablet 1, 2, 3, and 4, I did those in previous videos. Just go on this YouTube account, look for the Epic of Gilgamesh. If you're not watching me right now on YouTube, some people might be watching me from Facebook or Twitter. Just go to the Forbidden Knowledge YouTube account, the real one, not the fake one. We have several YouTube accounts. They're all 800,000, 830,000. 1.1 million. We have big accounts, 580,000 or whatever, big accounts. Okay. If you see somebody with 15, 20,000 subscribers and they claim that they're me, it's not me. All right. And another thing before I get started, something I want to begin to say every time I go live now, we will not, and I do mean we will not, absolutely not reply to any of your comments with a WhatsApp number or a Telegram number. You will never get a reply from me, although you will see my image in that fake YouTube account or fake Instagram account or whatever fake account it is, TikTok, Twitter, whatever. They have a million of them. You will never, ever, ever in a million years get a reply from me of me telling you, hey, here's my phone number, give me a call. It's just not going to happen. And the reason why I have to state this is because people are falling for these social media scammers, and they're contacting them on this WhatsApp, and then the pitch goes, oh yeah, I work with Billy, send me some money. And these people, some of them, not all of them, some of them actually send money. Okay. We got to be a little bit wiser than that. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to contact you and use these weird looking characters to form it into a number and tell you to contact me on WhatsApp, and definitely not Telegram either. So with that being said, even if I make a community post on YouTube, or I make a short post or an Instagram post, a TikTok, well, I really want to drive this message home. I'm not telling you to send me a WhatsApp a call. And I'm definitely not going to send you a random DM on any social media platform, say, hey, buddy, how you doing? And strike up a conversation with you. That definitely ain't happened. Like, I don't check 99.9% of my DMs because I only have about 4 or 5 people DMs that I deem are actually really truthfully important. The other ones are checked by our social media manager. So I'm not seeing many of these DMs. So there's no way in the world I would ever just take the energy and the time and the effort to send you a random DM and say, hey, how you doing? Let's talk. It's just not going to happen. So don't fall for these tricks, all right? Tricks are for kids, like they used to say back in the day. Don't fall for the tricks, all right? Anyway, let's get into it. Tablet number 5, and I got to really focus my eyes because this writing is really dim on this site, but I'm going into tablet number 5, okay? Let's see here. Let me get this. Let me just make this text a little bit darker here before I get started, just to highlight it so I can make it bolder. Because it's far away from me. It's about maybe 8 feet to 10 feet across the room. All right, there we go. Tablet 5. They stood at the forest edge. They're talking about now, just to give you a quick reprisal, we're talking about Gilgamesh, and we're talking about his buddy, right? Enkidu. They're out there right now in the forest. Enkidu is not a real human being. He's a fashioned human being. However you want to perceive that for yourself. They made him. It's like an android, like a humanoid android. The text says that he didn't come out of a womb. He wasn't birthed by a woman. He was created in the wilderness, all right? They fashioned him a companion to go on this hero's journey into the forest to find self-discovery. And his ultimate goal was to find out about immortality, him being Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh was half human, half Anunnaki. He was a demigod. And he was trying to find out how can he partake in immortality like his relatives on the godly side, which was really lowercase g's. These were just advanced beings that had knowledge of genetics, knowledge of biology, and knowledge of how to extend life, and probably genetically modified their own DNA at some point in their own past to give themselves extended lifespans. But it says, they stood at the forest edge, gazing at the top of the cedar tree, gazing at the entrance to the forest. Where Umbaba would walk, there was a trail. Now, this Umbaba is a entity or being, or maybe even a machine, and I think it's more like a machine that guards this forest. We had talked about this in the previous tablets. Umbaba is incredible in that this Umbaba entity or machine can hear people leagues away. We're talking about a great distance away, rustling in the bushes. And this entity or this machine's purpose is to protect the forest from any intruders, whatever. This entity or this machine will literally burn them to death. So that's why I believe it's more like a machine rather than a person, because in order for a person to burn somebody, they have to set a trap. They have to have fuel. You have to light the fuel on fire. This thing can clear leagues of distance within minutes and then light somebody on fire. So we're talking about something that might be technologically advanced, or maybe it's got a bow and arrow that's got flame that has the ability to light a flame and send it at you. And maybe the aim is so good it never misses. Either way, Umbaba is supposed to be a force to be reckoned with, okay? Where Umbaba would walk, there was a trail. The roads led straight on. The path was excellent. Then they saw the cedar mountain, the dwelling of the gods, the throne of Dais and Imani. Across the face of the mountain, the cedar brought forth luxurious foliage. Its shade was good, extremely pleasant. The thorn bushes were matted together. The woods were a thicket among the cedars. Then there's a couple of words missing. The boxwood. The forest was surrounded by a ravine 2 leagues long. A couple of words are missing here. And again, for 2/3 of that, suddenly the swords. A couple of words are missing. And after that, the sheaths, the axes were smeared, dagger and sword alone. There's about maybe 15 words missing here from because they're broken off the tablet. Umbaba spoke to Gilgamesh saying, he does not come. Enlil. Now, Enlil is the person that sent Gilgamesh and Enkidu on this journey and ordered Enkidu to be fashioned or created. Now, Enlil is one of these quote unquote gods in the Sumerian and Akkadian and Babylonian tales with a lowercase g. He's known as Yahweh in the modern day Bible. All right. He's got many, many names. Now, Enlil is the one that sent them on this hero's journey. Enkidu spoke to Umbaba saying, Umbaba, one alone, strangers. A slippery path is not feared by two people who help each other. Twice, three times. A three-ply rope cannot be cut. The mighty lion, two cubs, can roll him over. Umbaba spoke to Gilgamesh saying, an idiot and a moron should give advice to each other. But you, Gilgamesh, why have you come to me? Give advice, Enkidu, you son of a fish, who does not even know his own father. So what he's saying here is, that's pretty bad. I forgot about this part. Let me let me spend a couple seconds on this. So Umbaba is saying, you know, you guys are clowns, man. Like, what are y'all doing out here? And what's going on? I hear you guys talking to each other. You sound like idiots. And by the way, what are you doing getting advice from this guy who's not even a son of a man? He's a son of a fish. In other words, it's like an insult. He's not even a human being. All right. And you're listening to this entity or this guy, Enkidu. That's what Umbaba is saying to Gilgamesh. He said he doesn't even know his own father because he doesn't have a father. So this Umbaba is pretty smart and obviously knows some information about the actual or origins of Enkidu. Pretty interesting. To the large and small turtles, which do not suck their mother's milk, when you were still young, I saw you, but did not go over to you. You in my belly, you have brought Gilgamesh into my presence. You stand, an enemy, a stranger. Gilgamesh, throat and neck. I would feed your flesh to the screeching vulture, the eagle and the vulture. So that was Umbaba talking to them. Gilgamesh spoke to Enkidu saying, my friend, Umbaba's face keeps changing. Enkidu spoke to Gilgamesh saying, why, my friend, are you whining so pitiably, hiding behind your whimpering? Now there, my friend, in the Coopersmith channel, again to blow for an hour the glowing metal. There's a few words missing here, unfortunately. To send the flood, to crack the whip. Do not snatch your feet away. Do not turn your back. Strike even harder. May they be expelled. Head fell, and it hit and confronted him. The ground split open with the heels of their feet as they whirled around in circles. Mount Hermon and Lebanon split. The white clouds darkened. Death rained down on them like fog. Samash raised up against Umbaba. Mighty tempests went, south wind, north wind, east wind, west wind, whistling wind, piercing wind, blizzard, bad wind, wind of Samiru, demon wind, ice wind, storm, sandstorm. 13 winds rose up against him and covered Umbaba's face. So what's happening here is they begin to have this battle against Umbaba, and then one of their Sumerian gods named Shamash, who they actually worship, which actually is an Anunnaki, is now casting these evil winds toward Umbaba to help them destroy Umbaba. So it says, he could nor butt through the front and could not scramble out the back, so that Gilgamesh's weapons were in reach of Umbaba. Umbaba begged for his life, saying, Gilgamesh, you are young yet. Gilgamesh, your mother gave birth to you, and you are offspring of Remit Nunsin. Go down here. Okay. 1 second. You are offspring of Remit Nusin, and the word Samash, Lord of the mountain, that you were aroused, O scion of the heart of Uruk, King Gilgamesh. A few words are missing. Gilgamesh, let me go. I will dwell with you as your servant. So now Umbaba is saying, if you let me live, then I'll be your servant. As many trees as you command me, I will cut down for you. I will guard for you myrtle wood, wood fine enough for your palace. Enkidu addressed Gilgamesh, saying, my friend, do not listen to Umbaba. A couple of words are missing here. 2 lines are missing here. Umbaba sees Gilgamesh influenced by Enkidu and moves to dissuade Enkidu. You understand the rules of my forest, the rules further. You are aware of the things so ordered by Enlil. I should have carried you up and killed you at the very entrance to the branches of my forest. So Umbaba is saying, I should have killed you guys the first time you set foot in here, because you know that Enlil, who's in control and command of this area, has forbid anyone, including you guys, to come in here. So I should have killed you the first time I had a chance. I should have fed your flesh to the screeching vulture, the eagle and the vulture. So now, Enkidu, clemency is up to you. Speak to Gilgamesh, saying, my friend, Umbaba, guardian of the cedar forest, grind up, kill, pulverize, kill, pulverize. They say it twice, and destroy him. A couple of words are missing. Umbaba, guardian of the forest, grind up, kill, pulverize, and destroy him. Before the preeminent god Enlil hears, and the gods to be filled with rage against us, Enlil is in Nippur, Shamash is in Sapar. Erect an eternal monument proclaiming how Gilgamesh killed Umbaba. When Umbaba heard, then we have about 10 lines here missing. The forest and denunciations have been made, but you are sitting there like a shepherd and like a hearling of his mouth. Now, Enkidu, clemency is up to you. Speak to Gilgamesh that he spare my life. Enkidu spoke to Gilgamesh, saying, my friend, Umbaba, guardian of the forest, grind up, kill, pulverize, and destroy him. Before the preeminent god Enlil hears, and the gods are full of rage against us, Enlil is in Nippur, Shamash is in Sapar. Erect an eternal monument proclaiming how Gilgamesh killed Umbaba. Umbaba heard. About 10 lines are missing here. May he not live longer than the two. May Enkidu have any share more than his friend, Gilgamesh. Enkidu spoke to Gilgamesh, saying, my friend, one have been talking to you, but you have not been listening to me. You have been listening to the curse of Umbaba. His friend, by his side, they pulled out his insides, including his tongue. He jumped. Then there's a couple of words missing. Abundance fell over the mountain. Abundance fell over the mountain. That's twice there. He cut through the cedar. While Gilgamesh cuts down the trees, Enkidu surges through the Umazulu. Enkidu addressed Gilgamesh, saying, my friend, we have cut down the towering cedar whose top scrapes the sky. Make from it a door 72 cubits high and 24 cubits wide, 1 cubit thick. Its fixture, its lower and upper pivots will be without one piece. Let them carry it to Nippur. The Euphrates will carry it down. So they're going to put it in the Euphrates River and let the river, let the gigantic log roll all the way down to where they want it to be in a city called Nippur. Nippur will rejoice. They tied together a raft. These words are a couple of words missing here. Enkidu steered it while Gilgamesh held the head of Umbaba. So they beheaded Umbaba here. After Umbaba literally was working away to stop himself from being destroyed, his biggest mistake was that he didn't kill them the second they stepped into the forest. And so Enkidu and Gilgamesh, two giants with great and immense strength, probably very easily overtook him. He begged for his life. He tried to manipulate the situation in the conversation and try to get them to give him a second chance, and he'd be their, he would be their slave basically, and serve them. At the end, he lost, and the tallest cedar tree, which was worshipped, trees were worshipped back then. The tallest cedar tree was cut down and then sent down the river into Nippur to be utilized and praised. And the mighty king Gilgamesh will be praised by the people there because he defeated Umbaba, who had killed many, many, many people in the previous tablets. We know that Umbaba was a deadly force to be reckoned with. And now Umbaba is dead, the forest is safe, and the tallest cedar tree is cut down. Okay. So that was tablet number 5. All right. Tablet number 5. Pretty interesting stuff, Hey, it is what it is. It's pretty interesting. You can read these tablets and you kind of get an idea, like I said before, like what these people were thinking, what they were talking about, how they treated each other, what their discrepancies was, what their fight was for. All these things can be, it's almost like taking a look into the ancient past and trying to find, a way to see through their eyes and feel through these ancient texts. And that's what's pretty interesting. These texts, if you really want to understand what's happening, is you're literally taking an upload. So I write a book, right? I write a book. And so these thoughts are in my head, but not all the thoughts, because a lot of these thoughts came from even other people's minds. I take a culmination of those thoughts, which are in a multi-dimensional platform, because when you're thinking in multiple dimensions. We know this because human beings are now creating something called quantum computers. Quantum computers think in multi-dimensional thoughts. They don't think in linear file like a regular computer, right? And so because of that, it makes quantum computers powerful. It will give them the ability to think like a human being. So we take this information from the quantum field, from a higher dimensional field, and then we collapse it into 2 dimensions and 1 dimension, which are lines and connected lines, right? And so now we have taken complex thought forms and collapsed them into actual lines on paper. Now, what are these lines? The lines on the paper is an encoded message of consciousness. I have taken my mind and I have literally transferred multidimensional thoughts into an encoded message. Now you get the book and then you open it. And what happens? Light hits the page, photons. Those photons ping off of that encoded message, those lines. That ping from that photon bounces off the page and then it hits your retina. And then what happens? It goes to the back of the brain where the brain sorts it all out and begins the decoding process. So when you open a book and begin to read it, you're taking an upload, an upstream into the mind via photonic information that's encoded with data from the previous person's mind. And then your brain decodes the message from someone else's consciousness. This is how you get information out of a book. So now, if you go into these ancient texts and think about this 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, whatever the number is, thousands of years ago, someone wrote this stuff. And it's like you're literally taking an upstream into your mind from the mind of somebody that died thousands of years ago. You're getting their encoded thought patterns, and then you're decoding them. By that method, a person can literally live eternally through the transfer of information, through the transfer of knowledge, you see? And that's what makes it so cool. I love it because it gives me the ability to understand that right now, as I'm reading this information, I'm decoding someone else's consciousness from thousands and thousands of years ago. It's pretty cool. When you see it that way, you got to admit it's pretty cool. See? And so that's why I love this kind of stuff. It just gives me that opportunity to put myself in somebody else's shoes from a very, very long time ago. All right. So a lot of great stuff going on. Before I go into tablet number 6 and read tablet number 6, as I promised you guys I would, I'm going to give you guys a couple of quick updates that I want you to know about. One update, which is really important, is I'm going to be airing the new TV series, Anunnaki Ancient Secrets Revealed. I'm going to drop it in the live chat right now. Anunnaki Ancient Secrets Revealed will be airing at Regal IMAX theaters in several big cities around the country. I just dropped the link. Thank you guys for all the positive comments. I really appreciate you guys for all the positivity, all the support, all the positive energy that you guys bring to me. I really love it and appreciate it. I wish I could respond to every single individual person, but I can't, obviously. But I see the comments scrolling, and I love you guys, and I appreciate you. And there goes my beautiful wife, Elizabeth. Thank you, Elizabeth. I love you. But I just dropped the link right now to the Anunnaki Ancient Secrets Revealed brand new series that's going to be coming out exclusively on Forbidden Knowledge TV. But before we drop it on Forbidden TV, we're going to air it and premiere it at IMAX theaters around the country. Okay. Yes, New York is on the list. I just dropped a link for the one in LA, but if you go to that link, look at the top and go to the other locations, you'll be able to select for the tours, you'll be able to select different states. Okay. New York, California, Texas, Detroit, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, just various different states. All right. So check it out. I may be coming to a city near you. And when I show up at these locations, I'll speak for an hour and then we'll play the live premiere. There'll also be a VIP meet and greet. So we can meet, shake hands, take photos, sign books, walk the red carpet, take a picture on the red carpet for the VIPs. Well, I'll speak for an hour and then we'll show the live premiere in the IMAX theater. So you know the quality has to be incredible for it to play on that giant screen. All right. So it's going to be amazing. So all the states and cities that I'll be coming to are on forbiddenknowledge.com. I'll drop a link in here one more time. Okay. The first one will be in LA at LA Live at the Regal there. It holds about 700 people. And I want to see all the seats full there. All right. It's going to be a great night. And then I'll be going to a different city every month doing a live premiere of Anunnaki Ancient Secrets Revealed. I think we're going to hit 6 or 7 cities. So it's going to be great. All right. So don't miss out on this. This is going to be a beautiful thing. Nobody's ever taken this information to the big screen the way that we're taking it to the big screen. All right. So it's going to be history in the making, and we want you to be a part of it. All right. And the next thing I want to tell you real quickly is don't forget about the Forbidden Tour of Egypt. I just dropped that link in the chat, the Forbidden Tour of Egypt. Every year we take a group of amazing souls to Egypt on the tour of a lifetime, and we'd love to have you there to be a part of this year's tour. This year, we're going to do a 12-day tour of Egypt, and we're going to have 9 VIP private visits. 9, the most we've ever been able to achieve. And what that means is when we show up to these ancient sites, it's super VIP time. All tourists have to clear out. It's only for the forbidden family. We're going to have a very nice plated dinner inside of an ancient temple. All right. All tourists gone, just us. It's going to be mind-blowing, mind-boggling. We're going to sail down the Nile for 7 days, stopping at ancient sites along the way. Flights within Egypt are included. The Nile cruise is included. And 95% of the meals are all included as well. All right, check this out real quick. make sure you click that link and make sure you register ASAP for the Forbidden Tour of Egypt 2024. I'll see you there. All right, the 2024 Forbidden Tour of Egypt is going to be amazing, going to be mind-blowing. We have a very special guest coming with us this year. It's Sean Kelly. Sean Mikey Kelly is an amazing individual. He has the #1 marketing podcast in the world. I think he's got like 10 or 12 million followers on, maybe more on Instagram. I can't even keep up with his growth. The guy is growing incredibly. I've been on his podcast twice. I think the first podcast I did with him hit about 50 million views. This guy's a real deal. He will be a special guest for us on the Forbidden Tour of Egypt. And don't forget, we're going to give away 1 trip. So make sure you text us, okay? Make sure you text us. Text hashtag Egypt to 954-245-0086. One person will be lucky to get a giveaway. 954-245-0086. All right. Text hashtag Egypt, and you might be a lucky person to win a scholarship. I call this a scholarship because you're going to get knowledge. When you come on tour with me, you're going to get knowledge. It's not a commercialized tour. You're going to go get real information. All right. And so again, that's 954-245-0086. So I appreciate all you guys. Again, our tours, they sell out very fast. But if you click that link, you have a chance to register for this one coming up October of 2024. All right. With that being said, I'm going to get back into reading this Epic of Gilgamesh. We're going to switch over to tablet number 6. Let me get into tablet number 6. All right, let's get in here. Epic of Gilgamesh, tablet 6. Let's get back to all the tablets. And just to give you an idea, there's I still got to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tablets. So right now, I'm only reading 2 tonight. I'm going to read 2 at a time until we get through the entire epic. All right, it's a very big epic. And if you want to know where you can go and see these tablets in person, the actual original tablets, just go to the British Museum in England. All right, I've been there. You can go to the British Museum and you can see the tablets that comprise the Epic of Gilgamesh. You can go to the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford, England, and you can see the Sumerian Kings list there, which I've gone through before. I'm probably going to do another video on that again. Okay, and I'm going to continue to do videos on the Sumerian Kings list, and I'm going to continue to do information on the age of these kings. All right. Chad says, do you think this might be the last tour because NASA and other institutions? Great question, Chad. We can't predict when NASA may close off the access to the Great Pyramid, because they do own the access to the Great Pyramid, believe it or not, for some of y'all who don't know. We can't predict when it's going to happen. We know that right now, as of this year, because of our guides and our connections in Egypt, it's not planned to happen. But just think and realize in the future, we may get to a situation where access to the inside of the Great Pyramid might be blocked. Just like climbing Chichen Itza in the Yucatan Peninsula and the Pyramid of Kukulkan, you can't do it anymore. Climbing Koba, you can't do it anymore. Climbing Teotihuacan, the Pyramid of the Sun, Pyramid of the Moon, can't do it anymore. I'm fortunate enough to have climbed all of these in the ancient, not in the past, but now in this, an ancient meaning for me is 20 years ago, but now you can't do it anymore. I was in Teotihuacan a few months ago, last year, and you can't climb the Pyramid of the Sun or the Moon anymore. Okay, so all these things over time begin to get more and more restricted. So when you have the opportunity, sometimes it's worth the sacrifice to be able to take advantage of it and be able to say, I was probably one of the last of the people who didn't have to have a special access pass to get inside of the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid. And when we take you in the Great Pyramid, you'll be in there for a couple of hours, not like a regular tourist who goes up and then comes right back down because there's a long line. You got to wait in line for an hour just to get in there. No, we're going to take you and everybody's gone, and you're going to get access to see the inside of the Great Pyramid. Okay, inside of the King's Chamber, Queen's Chamber, subterranean shaft, all these incredible shafts and hidden spots inside the Great Pyramid that no one gets access to because they're closed with steel gates. You're going to get a chance to go and check it out. when you come on the Forbidden Tour. All right. So it's incredible. It's incredible. Anyway, let me get back in here to Umbaba, by the way. I see somebody writing Umbaba. Umbaba starts with the H. The H is silent. Okay. Let me go in here real quick. And for those who are making donations that I might miss, I appreciate you guys so much. I can't see them all because I'm reading, so I'm probably reading from a different screen and page. But thank you for all the donations. As you know, those go to help underprivileged children, communities, and schools. And by the way, today, just before I came on here, Elizabeth and I just gave away that Mercedes-Benz raffle, okay? We just gave away, the person's name is Anthony Wall. Anthony Wall won. We did a random drawing. We had somebody else do the random drawing. We did it all on film to see the random name selector from the software pull up the name from the random drawing that had all the thousands of names in it from people who entered the raffle. Even the people who did mail-ins, we put their name in the database. Okay, so everyone had a fair chance, and that person won, Anthony Wall. He lives in Colorado. We got him on a phone call after calling him several times and texting him. He finally called. We got him live right here on this YouTube account, and we're now making arrangements to get this car shipped to him. We'll videotape us getting it on the flatbed and getting it sent to him, and we'll have him videotape receiving it at his house or wherever he's receiving the car, and we'll be putting him up on Forbidden giveaways. But a percentage of that money went to help communities and schools as well. So the money we raised from the raffle is helping kids. The money we raised from you guys on these live chats are all helping children. And we'll be at that event in Detroit very soon at communities and schools. Again, for the third time, you'll see Forbidden Knowledge's name there listed as one of the sponsors. So we appreciate all of y'all. All right. Okay. So now let's see here. Let me get back into the epic. Okay. Tablet number 6. I got it highlighted. Let's get into it. All right. It says here, he washed out his marred hair and cleaned up his equipment, shaking out his locks. I'm sorry, this is a little bit, these words are a little bit weird here. Shaking out his locks, not his socks, down over his back, throwing off his dirty clothes and putting on clean ones. This guy's getting cleaned up now. He's getting his locks clean. He's got dreadlocks. Pretty interesting. Okay. See, when you read these texts and tablets, another thing that you begin to find out is you begin to get a description of these people. And so one of the descriptions we get of Gilgamesh is his size, his mass, his strength, but also now we get his hair. We know that he's got dreadlocks. He's got locks. Okay. And so he's cleaning out his locks. All right. That's what he's doing right now, cleaning his locks out. So you may have wondered why on the cover thumbnail image for this YouTube video, I'm talking about Gilgamesh in the subject, and there's a black man standing there. Well, now you know why. Okay. So cleaning out his locks, throwing off his dirty clothes and putting on clean ones. He wrapped himself in regal garments and fastened the sash. When Gilgamesh placed his crown on his head, a princess, Ishtar, raised her eyes to the beauty of Gilgamesh. Now, who is Ishtar? Ishtar is another one of these Anunnaki people, one of these Anunnaki Atlanteans, okay? Because the Anunnaki people built the Atlantean civilization. That's my personal opinion. Now, Ishtar is the person that Christians look up to and don't even know it because they celebrate Easter. Easter is actually Ishtar, and she was the fertility goddess. Okay, she was an Anunnaki being. She wasn't human at all, not even half human. She was a relative of Enlil and Enki and Anu, and she is the one that's depicted in a lot of the statuettes and cylinder scrolls as being a very feminine-looking woman with very strange feet. And the celebration, the Babylonian celebration for fertility, in that celebration, they would have bunny rabbits because rabbits multiply rapidly. Okay, so we're talking about fertility and eggs. And this got passed all the way down. This pagan celebration got put into Christian celebrations through the Romans. So because of the Romans, people out there are celebrating Easter, which is really Ishtar from the ancient Sumerian, Akkadian, and Babylonian epics. Just a little knowledge there, all right? Just a little bit of knowledge. You'll never catch me eating the flesh and drinking the blood of a man. You know, those celebrations that they do to remember Jesus. Yeah, never going to happen. Anyway, let me get back into this. So when Gilgamesh placed his crown on his head, a princess Ishtar raised her eyes to the beauty of Gilgamesh. Come along, Gilgamesh. You are my husband. She's like, I'm claiming this one. Come along, Gilgamesh. You be my husband. To me, grant your lusciousness. She's like, hey man, lay me out. Be you my husband, and I will be your wife. I will have harnessed for you a chariot of lapis lazuli and gold, with wheels of gold and horns of electron. Now think about this. She's trying to lure this man. She's trying to lure him into bed, wants to have sex with him, wants to be his wife. And the first thing she's wanting to do is get him a nice car. She's trying to get this man a nice car. She's trying to lure him in with some nice wheels. She say, a chariot of lapis lazuli and gold with wheels of gold and horns of electrum. Incredible. Then there's a couple words missing. It will be harnessed with great storming mountain mules. So she's going to get the biggest mules she could possibly find, the strongest and biggest mules to pull this chariot for him. Come into our house with the fragrance of cedar. And when you come into our house, to the doorpost and throne, Dais will kiss your feet. There's a couple of words missing. Bow down beneath you will be kings, lords, and princes. The Lilyboo people will bring you the produce of the mountains and the countryside as a tribute. Your she-goats will bear triplets. Your ewes will bear twins. Your donkey under burden will overtake the mule. Your steed and the chariot will be bristling to gallop. Your axe at the yoke will have no match. So she's telling him all the blessings that he's about to step into, all the abundance even his sheep are going to have 3 babies at a time. There'll be triplets popping out of the sheep. There'll be the strongest goats and mules. And when the mules fail, we got the donkeys will take over. She's just telling him everything is going to be phenomenal. All the abundance is coming your way. All right. Gilgamesh addressed Princess Ishtar saying, what would I have to give you if I married you? So he already knows something's going on here. Do you need oil or garments for your body? Do you lack anything for food or drink? I would gladly feed you food fit for a god. I would gladly give you wine fit for a king. Couple words are missing. May the street be your home. May you be clothed in a garment, and may any lusting man marry you. This guy. He said, look, he's like giving her, like, this is a hardcore insult now. He's like, look, man, I can't say the word I want to say because, get the video blocked. But like, nah, I'm not going for that. Go out on the street and let anybody have some of this. I don't want none of it. Too funny. Couple words are missing. An oven couple more words, it says ice. An oven, missing words, ice. A half door opens, keeps out neither breeze nor blast. A palace that crushes down valiant warriors. An elephant who devours its own covering. Pitch that blackens the hands of the bearer. A water skin that soaks its bearer through. limestone that buckles out of the stone wall, a battering ram that attracts the enemy land, a shoe that bites its own feet. Couple words missing here. A shoe that bites its owner's feet. Where are your bridegrooms that you keep forever? Where is your little shepherd bird that went up over you? See here now, I will recite the list of your lovers. Off the shoulder, couple words missing, his hand. Tammuz, the lover of your earliest youth. For him you have ordained lamentations year upon year. You love the colorful little shepherd bird and let him, and then let him hit. That's just funny. I'm sorry. This is too funny. This sounds like it came from the hood. Breaking his wing. So now he stands in the forest crying, my wing. You love the supremely mighty lion, yet you dug for him 7 and again 7 pits. You love the stallion, famed in battle, yet you ordained for him the whip and the goad and the lash. Ordained for him to gallop for 7 and 7 hours. Ordained for him to drink muddied waters. You ordained far his mother. Let me scroll down. Hold on. You ordained far, F-A-R, which is weird. You ordained far his mother, Seilili, to wall continually. That's what it says. That's weird, but that's what it says. You ordained far his mother, Seilili, to wail. Maybe it's whale, the 2 L's, the ending, the I, maybe that's an I, not an L, but you can't see the dot. It sounds more sense to say whale than wall there, but you can't see the dot. But I'm assuming that they meant to say whale, because that's whale continually would make a lot more sense. So you ordained for, F-O-R instead of F-A-R, the way they spelled it here. You ordained for his mother, Seilili, to wail continually. I'm going to go with that. You love the shepherd, the master herder, who continually presented you with his breadbasket and embers, and who daily slaughtered for you his kid, which is weird. Yet you struck him. You turned him into a wolf. So his own shepherds now chase him, and his own dogs snap at his shins. You loved Ishulanu, your father's date gardener. Never heard of a date gardener, but I guess that's what they got. Who continually brought you baskets of dates and brightened your table daily. You raised your eyes to him and you went to him. Oh my, Ishulanu, let us taste your strength. Stretch out your hand to me and touch our vulva. This is crazy stuff. And this is really freaky stuff. Ishulanu said to you, me? What is it you want from me? Has my mother not baked? And have I not eaten? That I should now eat food under contempt and curses? And that alfalfa grass should be my only cover against the cold? As you listened to his words, you struck him, turning him into a dwarf, and made him live in the middle of his garden. Labors, this is weird how they have this word, and there's a couple words missing. Made him in the middle of his garden of labors. I think that makes more sense. In the middle, and made him live in the middle of his garden of labors. I'm going to go with that. So you have to kind of decipher these a little bit the way this is old stuff, man. Some words are missing, some words are not spelled properly, or according to what we would think is proper in this day and age. Where the mihu do not go up, nor the bucket of dates down, and now me, it is me you love, and you will ordain for me as for them. So this chick is going through all these people, and she's promising, for sex. Obviously, she's reproducing probably like crazy. This is probably why Easter's named after her, which is the fertility goddess, right? And so it's why you have the Easter eggs and the bunnies. And so she's running through these dudes left and right, And then and when she gets done with them, she's like tossing them out and giving them all these bad curses and so forth. Crazy stuff. When Ishtar heard this, in a fury, she went up to the heavens, going to Anu, her father. So Anu is her father. Anu is the head or the king god of these Anunnaki beings. Anu. He's head of the Anuna in this ancient Sumerian tablets. Okay? So if you ever wondered if that was a real name, well, now you know it's a real name. So she goes to her father crying, going to Anum, her mother, and weeping, "Father, Gilgamesh has insulted me over there. He's insulted me over and over. Gilgamesh has recounted despicable deeds about me." She's pissed. Despicable deeds and curses. Excuse me. Hold on. This is so funny. She's pissed. Ishtar spoke to her father, Anu, saying, "Father, give me the bull of heaven so he can kill Gilgamesh in his dwelling." Now, what is this bull of heaven? Something sounds like a weapon. She said, "Give me the bull of heaven so I can destroy him in his dwelling." Now, when she goes to her father Anu, she's not on the ground anymore. Remember that. And what is this bull of heaven that can actually destroy him in his dwelling? I don't think it's a bow and arrow. That's my personal opinion. You gotta hit Gilgamesh with more than a bow and arrow. This guy is a strong guy. He's a giant. Okay. "I will knock down the gates of the Neverworld. I will smash the doorposts and leave the doors flat down, and will let the dead go up and eat the living, and the dead will outnumber the living." Anu addressed Princess Ishtar, saying, "If you demand the bull of heaven from me, there will be 7 years of empty husks for the land of Uruk." He's like, "Be careful what you ask for. Have you collected grain for the people? Have you made grasses grow for the animals?" Ishtar addressed Anu, her father, saying, "I have heaped up grain in the granaries for the people. I have made grasses grow for the animals, in order that they might eat the 7 years of empty husks. I have collected grain for the people. I have made grasses grow for the animals." When Anu heard her words, he placed the neurope of the bull of heaven in her hand. Now, this is incredible. Let me get this down here. So he placed, I think this word is better with this letter here is nose rope or nose rope. He placed the nose rope of the bull of heaven in her hand. I'm going to go with that instead. Ishtar led the bull of heaven down to the earth. Now, what is this that she's guiding down? What is this nose rope or no rope? What is this? What is in her hand, and what is she taking down from the sky to the planet that has the power to destroy somebody? When it reached Uruk, it climbed down the Euphrates. At the snort of the bull of heaven, a huge pit opened up, and 100 young men of Uruk fell in. This sounds like some type of an impact, and it opened up a crater, and people fell into this crater. And 200 young men of Uruk fell in then. So that's crazy. First, 100 men fell in. At the second snort of this bull, another pit opened up, and another 200 men of Uruk fell in. So this thing is snorting, which means it's creating some type of a frequency. Something is it's doing something that's creating these gigantic holes in the ground. At his third snort, a huge pit opened up, and Enkidu fell in up to his waist. This is a big dude. If 200 men fell into the other one, and Enkidu fell into one, and it's only up to his waist, it tells you how big this guy is. Then Enkidu jumped out and seized the bull of heaven by its horns. The bull spewed his spittle in front of him. With his thick, tall, this is weird, with his thick tail, I think it is, because again, another I without a dot. But I'm going to say that this tall letter is an I, not not an L. It makes more sense that way. With his thick tail, he flung his dung behind him. Enkidu addressed Gilgamesh, saying, "My friend, we can be bold. How shall we respond? My friend, I saw," there's some words missing again, "and my strength," a few words missing. "I will rip out," a few words missing. "I and you, we must share," a few words missing. "I shall grasp the bull. I will fill my hands," a few words missing. "In front." Then there's a few more lines missing there. "Between the nape and the horns and the thrust your sword." Enkidu stalked and hunted down the bull of heaven. He grasped it by the thick of its tail. Yeah, it got to be tail because that makes more sense. The other one, this looks more like a AIL, and the other one looked like tall, but definitely has to be tail. Makes more sense. So let me fix this. Hold on 1 second. He grabbed it by the thick of its tail and held on to it with both hands. While Gilgamesh, like an expert butcher, boldly and surely approached the bull of heaven. Between the nape and the horns and blank, missing words, he thrusted his sword. After they had killed the bull of heaven, they ripped out the heart and presented it to Shamash. They were through, bowing down humbly to Shamash. Then the brothers sat down together. Ishtar went up the mountain to the wall of Uruk Haven, cast herself into a pose of mourning, and hurled her woeful curse. "Woe unto Gilgamesh, who slandered me and killed the bull of heaven." So you can see, even back then, a woman scorned is nothing to be messed around with. Okay, because you get a woman, you get her pissed off to this point, and she'll do anything. So this is a scorned woman. She's really, really hurt. She's hurt so bad, she was willing to almost destroy an entire kingdom over being slandered. Okay? An entire kingdom. Now, it's a good thing, these days are over because I get slandered all the time. All the time. But, it's the 21st century now. We don't go kill everybody. We don't go kill them anymore. That was back in the day. We try to kill them. Now we try to be civil. When Enkidu heard this pronouncement of Ishtar, he wrenched off the bull's hindquarter and flung it in her face. This is crazy. This is petty. "If I could only get at you, I would do the same to you," he says. "I would drape his innards over your arms." Ishtar assembled the cultic women of lovely locks. So now she's going to get the women that have locks. They call them Harriets, joy girls. Interesting. And set them to mourning over the hind quarter of the bull. Gilgamesh summoned all the artisans and craftsmen. All the artisans admired the thickness of its horns. Each fashioned from 30 minas of lapis lazuli, 2 fingers thick, is their casing. 6 vats of oil, the contents of the 2. He gave as ointment to his personal god, Lugalbanda. He brought the horns in and hung them in the bedroom of the family. He hung them in the family room of Lugalbanda. That's the family house he landed. It's got parentheses around it. So that means Lugalbanda is the house that these horns were set up in. They washed their hands in the Euphrates and proceeded to hand in. They proceeded hand, this is not spelled right again. And proceeded hand in hand. I would say this makes more sense, hand in hand. Or maybe holding hands, either one of the two. Striding through the streets of Uruk. The men of Uruk gathered together, staring at them. Gilgamesh said to the palace retainers, "Who is the bravest of men? Who is the boldest of males? Gilgamesh is the bravest of the man, the boldest of males. She at whom we flung the hindquarter of the bull of heaven in anger, Ishtar, has no one that pleases her in the street. This is funny. Gilgamesh held a celebration in his palace. The young men dozed off, sleeping on the couches of the night. Enkidu was sleeping and had a dream. He woke up and revealed his dream to his friend. All right, so that ends tablet number 6, okay? Funny story, incredible stuff. I have to hop off here now because we are getting ready to start our free webinar, okay? There's another video. I'm gonna come right back on here live and talk about financial literacy, talk about how you can learn how to retire early, how you can become your own bank and build a legacy right after this podcast. So as soon as I hop off, I'm gonna go grab a quick cup of coffee and I'm coming right back on here. It's gonna be another hour that I'll be on talking about a totally different topic, but something that you should watch and it's free. I'll do a free webinar tonight right here. So don't miss out, all right? Anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thanks for sharing tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. And let me read tablet 5 and 6 of the Epic of Gilgamesh. I'll come back again on another day and I'll read 7 and 8, okay? I'll read 7 and 8 on another day. And real quick before I hop off, I want to tell you guys something real quick. I have another YouTube channel. Well, I have quite a few YouTube channels, but we have Forbidden Knowledge in Spanish. We have the 4BK clips, which shows the most popular clips from Forbidden Knowledge TV. We also have Billy Carson Official, and of course, this Forbidden Knowledge YouTube account here, which has our podcast network. But I also have the Tupac Remix Vault. Okay, the Tupac Remix Vault, where I produce, along with Gorilla Tech, new remixes of Tupac tracks that we have access to. So if you're a Tupac fan, if you like to hear Tupac, one of the most amazing rappers that ever existed on this planet, in my personal opinion, one of, I didn't say the, but one of, and you want to hear some Tupac and you want to hear his songs brought back to life in a totally different way, then go to the link that I just dropped. The Tupac Remix Vault is live, and every week I'll be dropping new remixes, new versions of the songs in a way that you've never heard them before, all right? Anyway, guys, subscribe to Tupac Remix Vault, and I'll be back on here shortly with the free webinar right here on Forbidden Knowledge, all right? Peace.